Dave Klein, and we all paid twice as much as you paid to take this class.
Someone might have paid.
0 times 2 is 0. We're all volunteers. This is Chris Johns and James Morrison. You may remember him from The Doors. And he also has JM Gun Repair, which is he's the only master gunsmith between Tampa and Fort Myers. So if you have any gunsmith that needs to see him. And I'm Michael Witowitz, and we're going to be talking today about ethics, about laws. We'll talk about, do we do wildlife identification on?
No.
No? Okay, so we'll talk about some of that stuff, and then we'll have pretty frequent breaks so that you can, stretch your legs, and use the restroom if you need to. There's restrooms right across the way over here. And then after we've done talking for a while, because we like to do that,
Dave?
We're gonna
Do you have a copy
do
of the
some
regs
shooting.
at all?
And we'll do shooting, and we're gonna do loading and unloading.
Do you have a copy of the regulations?
No,
The new one.
the new regulations are online. So yeah, they haven't given us the new regs yet. Yesterday Chris and I were in Walmart, and they had two brochures for regulations. That was it.
And we thought we might get some today, so we didn't pick them up.
Because Lakeland don't have them. All of them still in Tallahassee.
Okay.
Okay. We'll talk about the changes of the deer hunting rules, and make sure that you understand how all that stuff works. And then, like I said, we'll do some shooting, we'll do some loading, unloading, and then after we do that practical stuff, then we'll take another test. You all took a test online, but somebody could have helped you with that or something like that. So you take another test, and then once you get your test done, those of you who signed up in advance will get your hunter safety card today. And then as soon as you get your card, you can go ahead and leave. Okay? Any questions about what our agenda is for today?
They don't actually get their card. They get a paper saying that they passed.
Okay, you get a paper that says you passed, and the card will be mailed to you.
Yes.
But you'll be able to immediately go and buy your hunting license if you want to. Okay, you'll be able to use that to get your hunting license. Okay, any questions about that so far? Any comments from the peanut gallery?
Well, I think that they can't actually get their hunting license until the paperwork gets turned into Lakeland.
They can get their hunting license because ultimately they can get it under the mentorship. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Then
yeah.
you should explain that.
So does everybody know what the mentorship license is? Anybody know what it is? Okay, what it is that in the state of Florida, you can get a hunting license that you can that's under what's called a mentorship program, which means that your hunting license without a hunter safety is good as long as you're hunting with someone over the age of 21 who has passed hunter safety. Okay, and so that person is your mentor, and you have to be with that person. They have to be under you have to be under their control. And under the control, anybody know what that means? It's not like with a shock collar or anything like that. That would be kind of fun, but yeah. It depends upon who's wearing a shock collar, I guess, or how you feel about that. Anyway, what it means is that you have to be within voice command. Not like by a radio, but like, hey, George, like that. Okay, and they have to be able to respond. So the wildlife officer comes up to the mentor and says, or to you as the mentee, and says, where's your mentor? And you go, hey, Fred. And then if he calls back, then you're okay. If not, then you got trouble.
And that also applies about having, if you're hunting
Look
with
at
your,
them, not me.
that also applies if you're hunting with your children, that they have to be under your voice control too.
Yeah, and we'll cover that under the laws about like children and all that. Okay, so anybody have any questions so far? Yeah? Okay, well, let's talk about ethics. In this book, Today's Hunter, on page 65. Now, personally, I think ethics should be the first thing in the book. But it isn't. It's got like 64 pages of other stuff. But ethics should be the first thing. So what are ethics? Anybody, just shout it out. Because, we got this huge class, and, just go ahead and shout it out. Well, what do you think ethics are?
How responsible you are?
How responsible you are. That's a good answer. We've got another answer here out here.
What should and shouldn't be done?
What should and shouldn't be done. That's a good answer too. Any more? Laws, there's part of ethics, yeah? Anything else? For me, ethics comes down to one word, and it's respect. Okay, it's respect for other people, it's respect for the animals, respect for the land, and respect for yourself. Okay? And the very basic minimum of that is following the law. Because ultimately that's respecting other people, because we as a group have elected legislators and regulators who then put the laws into place. And so they represent all the people. So if you disrespect the law, you're disrespecting everybody. Right? So if you respect the law, you're respecting everybody. Now there is one circumstance under which it's ethical or like legitimate to break the law. Not legitimate, that's a bad word, but like ethical to break the law. And that is 3 conditions have to be met. 1, it has to be for some kind of greater social good. Number 2, it has to be done, your breaking of the law has to be done out in the open. And number 3, you have to accept the consequences of your actions. An example of that would be Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s march on Selma, Alabama. Now, it was for he didn't get a permit for it, so it was illegal for him to do that, okay? But he did it for greater social good so that we could all be freer, right? So that we could have equality and be freer. Second, he did it out in the open. He didn't like march in secret or anything or with a mask. He did it out in the open. And then when they came to arrest him, he did not resist and went right off to jail and then fought it through the court system. And eventually the Supreme Court struck down that rule and was on his side. But the fact is that met those 3 conditions: greater social good, out in the open, willing to accept consequences. Smoking pot in your house with the window shades drawn is not for greater social good, it's just for yourself. It's not out in the open, you're hiding, and you're not willing to accept the consequences of your actions, so it's unethical. Right now against the law. Now if it's in Colorado, that's a whole different thing. Then it's ethical because it's not against the law, right? So it depends upon where you are also. Does that make sense? Now there's more to ethics though than just following the law. It's also following this idea of respect. So let's talk first about respect for animals. Anybody here know what the idea of fair chase means? What is the idea of fair chase? You ever heard that? Okay, you've heard of fair chase. What do you think it means?
Is between your equipment and your skills against the animal's getaway.
So the animal has some chance to get away. And that's what it is. You want to have like so that it's fair between you and the animal in some sense. I mean, ultimately as human beings, we have the worst eyesight, worst hearing, worst sense of smell, we're slow, right? So we really have no advantage over any animal except our brains and the tools that we use because of our brains. But then we can go beyond what's reasonable. Like, would it be okay to hunt deer with a machine gun?
No.
No, because that's just not fair at all. Or with a bazooka, or like a bomb of some sort. It's just not. That's not really hunting, is it? It's not fair. So here we go to this idea of, there's a question that comes up in people's minds. Is it legal to shoot quail on the ground? Yeah, it's legal. But is it ethical?
No.
No, because the quail, as long as they're on the ground, they think they're safe. It's when they're flying, they're getting away, and they have a chance. They have a chance of escape. And that is what makes it fair chase. So every state has different rules about what they consider fair. Like, for example, just recently in Florida, they made it legal where you can use a laser sight, a laser rangefinder on your bow. But in years past, that was illegal.
Stephanie, let me get this.
So sometimes it changes with technology. In Pennsylvania, for example, they have a rule for during a primitive hunting, where you can only use a flintlock rifle. You can't have any kind of sights on it that were not in use prior to 1900. Okay, so if you have a telescopic sight on it, it has to be one that's the whole length of the barrel, which is like, why even bother, right? And it has to be a flintlock. Whereas in Florida, you can use every kind of muzzle-loading rifle up to the most modern kind with any kind of scope on it, except for that has a laser rangefinder. It's not legal in Florida. But you can't use the most modern of the muzzle loaders, which uses electronic ignition. Okay? So there are limits to what you can and can't do. So that's respect for the animal. So what's another idea of respect for the animal? Say when you have the animal in your sights, what do you want to do? What kind of shot do you want to take? Oh, are you swatting a fly or
It's a little buggy.
Okay, so, pardon me?
Repeat.
Okay, let me rephrase it because maybe it's not clear. When we're going to shoot the animal, what do we want to aim at?
Vitals.
The vitals. We want a clean, quick kill, right? A clean, quick kill, that's what we want. So in order to do that, we have to know the vitals of an animal. And that shows respect for the animal. So like on a deer, what are the vitals? The heart and lungs, right? And like if the deer is facing away from you, straight away, you take that shot? No, because you don't have a clear shot to the heart and lungs, right? And if it's facing straight onto you, that's also a very low percentage shot. Now, some people can make that shot. I don't think that I can, and based upon my experience, I know that I've taken that shot one time. I will not ever do it again, okay? Because the deer got away. It didn't bleed out enough for me to be able to track it. There was no blood trail, all right? And that's not good. So we couldn't track it. It was like 6 of us that were looking for blood. None of us found any blood. But it went down when I shot it and then got up and ran away. And that felt horrible. That felt really horrible. So I will never again take that kind of shot, and I recommend you don't either. Okay? That's one of the things you can do is you can learn from other people's mistakes, right? You don't have to make your own mistakes. You can learn from other people. So you do a clean, quick kill. Now on a deer, the heart, lung is the vitals. What about on a turkey?
The head and neck.
The head and neck. It's a different shot. Is it a clean, quick kill if you shoot a deer in the neck? No, because you got a spine. It's like maybe this big. The spinal cord is maybe smaller than your finger that you got to hit, and you got a neck that's that big. Now, where on the neck is the bone? Where you don't know, but on a turkey, it's like right there, right? And plus, you're using a shotgun versus a rifle. Although on private land, you can use a rifle for turkey hunting. Okay, so you got to know based on what the animal is, where the vital area is. Right? Now, for me, like if I'm squirrel hunting, one of the things I like to do is when I got a squirrel that I want to shoot, I wait till it peeks around the tree, because they almost always do that. They peek around the tree. Now, their whole body is covered up by the tree, and only their head is showing. So then I can shoot them in the head and save all the meat. The squirrel meat is very delicious. Who here's had a squirrel? It's good, isn't it? It's really good. Well, depends upon how you cook it, I guess.
Compared to venison.
Oh, well, compared to venison, although, honestly, the very best meat that I've ever had in my whole life was squirrel out of a 10-acre hickory forest. No other trees in it except hickory.